So I'm so excited to be speaking with you today, Joe, specifically about Panic Fest. You are an ambassador for Panic Fest. So what has drawn you to be a part of this festival, first and foremost?
Well, first and foremost, as an ambassador of Panic Fest, they keep asking me. I can't get rid of them. I keep saying, like, guys, leave me alone. Like, this is just too much. No, I'm totally kidding. Uh, Honestly, Panic Fest is easily one of my favorite film festivals I've ever been to. When you're a filmmaker and you start making movies that do the quote unquote festival run, they're all, I mean, it's all just an honor to be able to go there and share your film and talk to like-minded cineasts, to be able to talk to like-minded filmmakers who have been in the trenches, to the press, to everybody. It's a great, like, uh, I guess, way station for all of us who love cinema in one form or another to get together. That said, there are few of them that are genuinely great places to hang out, even when you don't have films there. Like, you just love the community that's there. You love the people that show up, whether it's the programmers or the other filmmakers, or especially the fans, especially the local fans that you normally might not get a chance to be able to commiserate with. And, I've
Yeah.
had film festivals come my way when I was a kid. There was this film festival in Long Island that played at the Huntington Cinema Arts Center. And it was the only time that any filmmakers would ever, like, travel all the way out there unless they were going to the Hamptons. And it was just such a great feeling that, like, you could bump into Michael Mann and be like, "Hey, sir, I really did like Manhunter." This is back before it was cool to say you liked Manhunter, but to have those moments. And Panic Fest, when I went there back in, I believe it was 2018, the first time that I went with Mayhem, alone, the theater itself was, like, amazing, and the people that were there who ran it were just so nice. I loved the way that they organized things, that they put things together. But Panic Fest to me was just like, it reminded me a lot of the even just like the early days of, like, Fantastic Fest or Fright Fest, where
Mm,
people just went to these movies, these film festivals, to be amongst brethren and be amongst, other like-minded, especially at the genre festivals, be amongst like-minded sickos that love these kind of things. And I love the way that they program things, that they took care of everybody, not just the talent, but also the guests. Like, everyone
yeah.
felt very much like a community. And when they started asking me to come back, not because I had a film, but just because they just liked hanging out with me, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm honored. So in 2020, I went back, and we did kind of like a panel of one of my favorite years of cinema ever, which is 1990. And we celebrated that by, I did like a whole preview reel of, like, my favorite 1990s movie trailers, like Darkman and Tremors and the like. And then we showed Richard Stanley's Hardware, which, at the time when that movie came out in 1990, was, like, at least to me, was like a fireball. Like, it was just one of those movies that, like, just knocked me off my feet. And to be able to share movies like that, not all film festivals do this, but Panic Fest, I think, is really smart and savvy in that they don't only show new films, but they highlight older films and films that you might not be able to get the chance to see in a theater. And part of the reason
Yeah.
why I'm still in LA now is because I can't quit the New Beverly, because it is one of those repertory theaters
Uh-huh.
that makes you feel like you're part of a community that is regularly playing movies I want to see all the time, and on 35 millimeter. But to be able to get the chance to see these sometimes little scene films that, when you watch at home and you go, "Oh my God, I would kill to watch this movie or that movie with a crowd, with an audience," or even just make it feel like it's a Friday night slumber party. That's
Yeah.
the kind of communal experience that I think wouldn't necessarily be going away, but doesn't get enough love, especially for older films. So when we showed, um, Hardware in 2020, it packed house. Everybody was freaking out. It was glorious. So when they asked me to come back, when they opened up again to, in-person patrons, and they said, "Do you want to do that again?" I'm like, fuck yes, I do. Like, any chance that I can get to hang out with you guys and that audience and show a movie that people might not have seen before, or might not have given, the kind of recognition that it might or might not have deserved, maybe at the time or even now.
Yeah.
But my partner was cutting the special features for this obscure movie that's on Vinegar Syndrome called Surf 2. Spoiler alert, there is no Surf 1, but it's one of those weird, wacky genre mashups that when I watched it, I went, oh my God, I would kill to watch this with, again, just 20 people, 10 people, more than two people, but a packed house of wackos that would want to see this with me. So originally, when Adam had reached out to see if I wanted to show another movie, I was trying to go for something that was maybe a little more confrontational, like, I don't know, I Spit on Your Grave or Ebola
Uh-huh.
Syndrome or Serbian Film. And I kept thinking, like, well, that's cool because I know we're going to get walkouts, but wouldn't it be great to just show like a fun party hangout type movie where people can just, one of the great things about Panic Fest also is that you can bring alcohol into the room. So that's always nice. A few libations during a movie never hurt anybody.
Absolutely
And
not.
Panic Fest has a full bar, so that's also incredibly helpful. So they programmed us at like Saturday morning like Saturday early afternoon at 1 p.m. And I was completely convinced that no one was going to show up. It was like the Saturday after a big Friday night, and everyone's probably hungover. Packed house, absolutely packed house. Probably the most packed that Surf 2 has ever had, aside from maybe a New Beverly screening, and it played like gangbusters. It felt like a sleepover party. It felt like a great party where you're not going like, all right, everybody, it's time for 7 minutes in heaven. It's like, no, everyone wants to
Yeah.
crowd around the TV just have a blast. And even Mick Garris, who was sitting next to me, was just kind of like, man, this movie's so much fun. And it is, it's goofy as hell, but it's the kind of movie that you want to see with a group of
Yeah.
people. So went incredibly well. And then this year, which was crazy because when we came to Panic Fest last year, we were literally a week away from shooting Suitable Flesh. And I said to
Oh.
everybody, I'm like, sorry, I have priorities here. I have to go to Kansas City. We need to go to Panic Fest. Sorry, we'll be back on Monday. Trust me, I'll be fine. I can deal with whatever hangover ever, and I'll be right back to work. Now a year later, the movie's almost done, and we're really excited about that and everything. And Adam reached out and said, hey, maybe Suitable Flesh is ready. I'm like, I can't, we're not
Oh.
ready yet. I can't show it. I want to show it so bad. But what if Barbara's, I've been raving about Panic Fest to Barbara since last year when we were in prep, and she kept asking me more about it. And Barbara Crampton is a wonderful person to go see the movies with. She goes to New Beverly all the time. She does other festivals. So I kind of threw it out there to Adam. I'm like, what if we did a Barbara Crampton night and we showed like something like, I don't know, like From Beyond, one of her old films, and then maybe something new like Jacob's Wife or We Are Still Here. And he was like, that sounds great. Do you think Barbara would go? I'm like, hold on a second. We were literally on the soundstage, like mixing the movie. And I said, what do you think about Panic Fest? Panic Fest sounds great. And there you go. So I knew that at least we had that secured, but I also knew that they wanted to show another movie. And this year, I am picking a film that we have, at this point, we have kept completely secret. Maybe 5 people on earth know right now what we're showing. And it's for
Mm.
the best, because I don't like, if we told everybody right now what it was, I wouldn't be surprised if people were just kind of like, I don't know. But we're surprising them very much the way that I would, like if I was like Jamie Kennedy in crowded around all those people in Scream, and he just starts holding up
Okay.
VHS boxes like, okay, maybe we'll watch Wayne Wang smoke, but actually we're going to watch the first Halloween. And then everyone's like, oh, I've seen that before or whatever. But here, I think that we've garnered enough of goodwill and reputation where people like think, well, even if it is a secret screening, maybe Joe knows what he's doing, and that's why we kept it secret for now. But it is arguably one of the most fun movies I have ever seen. I can't give too much away, but I will say that it has won a major award. It is also 93 minutes, and that's all I'm going to say. Oh, you know what? I'll give one more hint. It may or may not be a horror movie necessarily. Now, someone's definition of horror movie can be wildly different. I wouldn't generally classify it as horror, but it could be horrifying to someone in the wrong context. But yeah, and they said that sounds great. Or when I finally convinced them and they went like, hold on, let me watch it. And then 2 hours later, Adam was like, oh, we have to show this. So it's going to be very exciting. So that's on Friday night. And then on Saturday night, I'll be moderating at least the beginning of From Beyond. And then we're going to have a very, very cool Q&A, which I would wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I wouldn't miss if I were you. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm so bummed I can't go in person this year. It sounds so
Oh, wait, have you
incredible.
gone before?
I've never gone before, and they're the best to work with. I every year I've been covering it virtually, and their program is so good
It's
every
amazing.
year. It is always so like there's so many like surprise movies you've never
Mm-hmm.
heard of, but you
Yep.
discover. And they just have
That's
like an incredible programming team, and I just love the way they
they know
curate.
their shit. I mean, Adam and
Yeah, they
Casey and
really
all those guys,
do.
they really know their shit. And they're smart enough to know to go to other festivals to soak in a lot of the other films that again might not get the kind of exposure that they would if they were either in a bigger festival or what have you. But here they know what their audience wants, and I think at this point they've also seen their audience like get bigger, and they've gotten a little more press coverage, which is great.
Yeah.
They're also getting a lot more industry folks who are saying like maybe this is a festival worth looking at, but
Yeah.
they've never lost the spirit of what it's like to go to Panic Fest, which is, to me, it's the ultimate hangout festival. It's the one that you want to go, and even if your film isn't playing there, or if your film's playing the first night, and a lot of times people just get the F out afterwards, or their film's playing like 4 days from now, they come in early. It's just a great community of people that you like. Half the fun of it is watching the movies, and the other half of it is hanging out and talking and doing everything that we love when we were kids watching movies, or even today, which is just sharing our love for cinema. And that's what Panic Fest is all about.
Oh yeah. Are there any films that are on the program that you want to highlight, but besides your own screenings? Are there any films that are showing that you think people need to check out while they're at the festival?
Sure. Well, the ones that like, look, I will be biased that there's a few that I am friends with the filmmakers, so I'm just
Cool.
going to put that bias out there now. But you know what? Can't hurt, because I've seen a lot of them, and I think that there's so many that I'm so excited for other people to see. Um, First off, I love Ted Gagan's new movie Brooklyn 45, which is, I'd say,
Yes.
maybe his most accomplished and most mature film to date. If you know Ted, that's a big thing. But I think Brooklyn 45, that's playing on Friday, is definitely one not to miss. I am so excited to see Black Mold. I don't know
Yeah.
when it's playing. I think it might actually be conflicting with From Beyond, but I like everything I've seen from Black Mold, and there's a couple people that I was talking to when we were crewing up for Suitable Flesh, that had worked on it, and it just sounds so freaking cool. Um, Another one that I was very pleasantly surprised to see last year, which was Allegoria, which was Spider-One and Chrissy Fox's
Oh
film that
yeah.
played last year, that just tore the roof off. It was not what anyone expected, I think, from Spider, especially if you compare him and his musical oeuvre. It was
Yeah.
something that was just so complex thematically that I was just really just, wow, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. This year he's got he and Chrissy have Bury the Bride, which, it was funny because when we were there at Panic Fest last year, and I'm a huge Power Man 5000 fan, so I was just kind of like fanboying out, going like, oh my god, Spider-One. uh but finally getting to sit down with him and talk to him and talk to Chrissy, and kind of peel their heads back a little bit and kind of get into what they like, what they don't like. That, again, that's the beauty of film festival. A lot of times you get
Yeah.
to meet other filmmakers and commiserate with them. So we became really good friends with them, and we found out, well, they live right down the street from us. And while we were making Suitable Flesh, they were making Bury the Bride, and they beat us, god damn it, sons of bitches. um but that whole concept sounds amazing. What else? I mean, I'll be honest, I was a little bummed to hear that Evil Dead Rise is playing at the same time as the secret screening that we have. That said, Evil Dead Rise looks amazing. I'm a huge fan of Lee's work. I know
It's
I'm
good.
seeing it the week after. it's coming out on 2,000 screens. So anybody who goes to Panic Fest and goes, what should I see tonight? I will say, look, Evil Dead Rise has all my votes, but the other movie that I'm showing might never be shown again, and you will be telling your grandkids about it. So I think Lee would understand. I think Bruce and Sam and the whole gang at Ghost House would probably understand us saying that. They're not worried about that money, I'm sure. But yeah, and all the shorts. That's one thing that don't short on the shorts, because every year that I go, I sit down for the shorts program, and I'm usually blown away by some of the most amazing stuff that's out there, and it gets me so excited for the future of our art form, because in a world where everyone's kind of going like, oh, it's dying out, it's no one's using that anymore, they're all in their tickety talks or their Instagram lives or whatever. I still think that there's a lot of filmmakers who are coming up in the ranks right now that are making some fantastic stuff, that usually shorts kind of get slighted sometimes. But like every time I watch one of the shorts programs, I walk away with 2 or 3 that I go, I cannot wait to see what they do with 80 minutes or 90 minutes or 2.5 hours if they want to like try to win an Oscar. Like, and who knows, maybe some will. You never know. But also, the retro screenings too are great. Again, I've never seen From Beyond in a theater with a crowd. So when we were even kind of contemplating this idea, I was like, holy crap, I get to check one off the list, because I get to see what's arguably one of Stuart Gordon's like weirdest movies on a big screen with the star of it right next to me. It's going to be amazing.
That's so cool. What a cool experience.
Yeah, totally.
I love film festivals. They're especially like Panic Fest.
Which ones do you go to?
So I have been to Overlook in New Orleans. I've been to the Unnamed Footage Festival, is a found footage festival in San Francisco, Fantasia. I haven't gone to a ton of festivals because I'm like newer to the festivals, but the smaller ones are my favorite. I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Maryland, actually.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Well, I'm not going to say anything. There's things coming up that are on the East Coast that you might be very excited about. That's all I'm going to say.
Sweet. I love to hear that.
Wink, wink.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for chatting with me today about Panic Fest. Everybody, Panic Fest starts this Thursday, April 13th, goes to the 23rd in person and 14th through the 24th for virtual. Link below to get tickets and see the full schedule and get all that good stuff, up, down, all around. But y'all don't want to miss.
Smash it and subscribe or whatever.
Smash it and subscribe. So yeah, everyone check it out. And thank you, Joe, so much again for chatting with me about Panic Fest. This has been great.
Thanks so much.